Welcome. You're listening to the Disney Twin Podcast. Hi, you're listening to the Disney Twin.
This is Marianne.
And I'm Arian.
And this is part 2 of our What's New in Review
What's
episode.
new and review?
Yeah, so we ran a little long, of course. You know, we like to chat.
Like our typical fashion.
So this is part 2. Thanks for sticking with us, and on with the show.
On with the show.
Let's see what.
Well, Flower and Garden Festival goes until May 30th, which is 90 days this year versus
Yes, it's
40.
longer this
Yes.
year.
And I think it's because they've gotten rid of Star Wars weekend. That's my personal opinion. Not that I'm, official or anything, but I think that they're trying to keep people in a little bit longer.
Yeah. And then what else? Is Disney Springs on our list for this? Can I talk a little bit about Disney
Yeah, you
Springs?
can talk about Disney Springs because
It's on our list of new stuff.
Now.
Yeah. So Disney Springs, we were there on Friday. We ate at the Boathouse. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that we did that. It's a fantastic restaurant. It's one of those, I'm very nostalgic because my dad was an avid boater and he passed away a long time ago. But I was one of those places that I was like, oh, I wish I could bottle time because it's all these vintage boats.
Cool.
Some that were, owned or at least inspired by Walt Disney and his wife. There's a pink, a Chris Craft from the 60s. So I was like, oh, my dad would have loved this. It's fantastic seafood, great atmosphere. I totally recommend the Boathouse. And if you've got super nerdy people in your family, like my husband and I, watching the amphibious car launch, it's this little sort of Cadillac kind of open top car, and it drives up onto the ramp and drives down. But we're Top Gear, British Top Gear, the Clarkson, May, and Hammond Top Gear. So we loved watching the amphibious car launch.
Well, and that's I saw that on the Chew when they were there.
It's
and
adorable.
But I hear
It
the
just puffs
prices for
around.
that.
I didn't even ask. I didn't even want to know.
It's a lot of money. I mean,
yeah.
it's in the hundreds.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just it's a driver and a passenger and then 2 people behind, so it doesn't fit that many people and it doesn't go that fast. It just kind of putts around.
Yeah,
it's cool to watch. I don't know if I can live a happy life and not ride in it.
I keep seeing in my mind Mario Batali and Clinton Kelly going around in the little thing. I love the Chew. I'm such as an actor that was a little upset that they got rid of all my children and stuff like that because it's parts of actors that we're dying breed now. The soap operas. But I love the Chew.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And they do a lot of stuff at Disney, especially during Food and Wine.
Yes. I think that's when I saw them putting around in the little cars. I'm like, that is so cool. But it's I looked at it and it's really expensive. So
and the restaurant itself is good. But that's the only one we've eaten at. My in-laws have eaten at Raglan Road, which is the pub. And they do some Irish step dancing and stuff. But And a disclaimer, I'm not at all making a judgment call, but I was talking to my husband. We have our deep philosophical conversations on the drive back.
Yes, so do we.
Florida's a very boring state to drive through.
Especially on the turnpike at 10 o'clock at night.
Just flat.
And you're trying to stay awake.
Trying to keep each other awake, and the baby's already asleep, right? Or she's zoned out watching Finding Nemo or something. So I just had the comment that downtown Disney has really changed and evolved, and this will be probably our last new topic, so don't let me go on too much about
this. No, you're good.
But so downtown Disney has really changed and evolved since I was a kid. We were kids. That Lake Buena Vista sort of Disney shopping atmosphere expanded, and the previous iteration was the Marketplace, which is still in existence kind of in that same form, Pleasure Island, and the West Side. And Pleasure Island was a separate ticketed area that was full of bars and clubs. You had to be 21, and they boasted that it was like New Year's Eve every night kind of thing. And then the West Side happened.
Which was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a lot.
I loved the Adventure Club and the Comedy Club.
The Comedy Club was hilarious. Yes. The Adventures Club was a lot. I mean, dinner theater, very fun.
And we never went to Mannequins.
So back to Disney Springs. And let me just say, it's a lot of fun, and I really like it. But... and I'm going to sound like a total stick in the mud, but this is the philosophical conversation my husband and I were having. When we were kids, the bar, the drinking area, was not a place that kids were ever. You never saw kids near a bar, up at a bar, nothing like that. And so Pleasure Island, I think, was really separated because that's where you went if you were over 21 and you wanted adult nightlife.
Yes.
It was away from the kids. Now, and I will say partly, and I'm not blaming it on Food and Wine, but so Food and Wine is 20 years old. That's really when you started to see more alcohol being served in the parks, and now alcohol is like served in the parks,
except for the Magic Kingdom.
Right. But used to be you could really only get like beer at the beer garden, wine in France. It was really specialized. Now it's a little more overt, and you even see people, even though it was Flower and Garden Festival going on, you saw people with their sort of drink around the world T-shirts. So the drinking life is a little more open and not as siloed off as it once was.
Right. And I think there's only a few places still on property that you have to be 21 and older. Even the Trader Sam's at Point, kids can still get in there.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, though, they shut it down. And I'm kind of glad. I'm really happy for that. The dueling piano jelly rolls at Boardwalk, that is a 21 and older place.
Yeah, but
so I'm happy to see that. You know that there are some places still.
Right.
But it does. It feels like, and I blame it on our generation of we still want to go out, we still want to have nightlife. I know for us, we don't have family down here, so it's really hard for us to go out and have a good time. We're paying for sitters, so we opt not to go out.
Yeah.
So, but I know a lot of people, they take their kids and whatever floats your boat, but I can understand what you're saying now. It's
the atmosphere of Disney Springs, it has changed a bit to kind of reflect that. And the boathouse was an example. When you first check in, there's a big bar. It's beautiful. It's got all this nautical memorabilia. And even where we sat down at the other side, there's another bar. And again, it's just more of the you'll find that Disney Springs in general, the overall atmosphere is more of the hipster, street musicians, and it's a lot less Disney branded than it once was. Now, it still has Disney's quality of service and food and everything, but then you also have a lot of if you live in a big metropolitan city like Miami, it's got a movie theater in Splitsville and stuff like that you have everywhere.
I will say there's been a problem, though. I know friends of ours were down for Valentine's Day weekend, and we were up there, and they were saying that they made reservations at one of the restaurants there through Disney. And I guess Disney did reservations, and then they themselves did reservations, so they were overbooked. And they ended up having a 2-hour wait for reservations on Valentine's Day. So I think that even with the new restaurants that are opening up, there's still a lot that they're trying to figure out, especially on big eating out days.
Yeah.
Even though you have reservations, you may still have to wait.
There's a lot of great shopping, though. Right now, March 2016, they are still building. So on the side that is where Cirque du Soleil is still, Disney Quest is closing this year. It has not closed yet, but it's closing at some point this year to be announced.
So you can still go play those video games.
You can.
I can take my husband.
You can. You should. This is the last opportunity. Well, that was another thing. You said, people aren't going to pay for that because what was once really unique and like what this amazing technology, now your PS4 does as much of that. VR helmets and all that exist now. Yeah. So it's kind of lost its. I get why that's closing. Yeah. It's going to become an NBA experience. At least that was announced.
Oh, so that's moving over from.
I think from why
Universal. No, Universal has NBA, the NBA restaurant.
Oh yes, there's going to be something NBA themed in the Disney Quest space. But so on that end is what is called the Orange Garage, because they have named it the Orange Garage. That implies there will be another garage. Going. It's not just the garage. So another garage will be going up, and there's a walkway across the main street about at the midway point, but they're still building, and the buses drop you off at the marketplace, which is at the far end, the other side.
So you're trekking.
You are trekking. Traffic is no bueno, as we say down here.
Strollers, it's got to be tough.
Strollers is stuff. We ended up driving just because we had just arrived, and Animal Kingdom Kidani Village is literally, it's in actual Africa. It takes you that long to get to. You cross the savannah, you paddle across the Atlantic, and then you drive up. So, it's convenient in that I don't have to drive, but it still takes you 4 hours to get to your destination. Anyway, we drove ourselves, and traffic is really bad still at Disney Springs. So go. It's got a lot of great restaurants, but just keep in mind
the Jack Hanger. I really want it because I'm an Indiana Jones freak. Yeah. I love Indiana Jones,
and it has stuff. Supposedly, I didn't see inside, but it did have things, repurposed props from Adventure
and my friend Chris and Tony.
Yeah,
we've talked about them multiple times.
Princess Leia, slave bikini.
Yes,
we'll have her as a guest.
Abs of steel. They've gone numerous times, and they have like souvenir glasses that you can get, and they're supposed to have the Willy, anything goes dress. The dress is supposed to be the stem of the. So
that's cool.
She said that hasn't come out yet, but she got the monkey brains cup.
And
so
fun.
So yeah, no, I as an Indiana Jones nut, I want to go there just to do that. But
definitely.
There isn't really anything much driving me there unless
and I only say the thing about the bars just because if you're the type of person that wants to, doesn't want that, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody parents differently. Yeah. So if that bothers you as a parent and you don't really want your kids too close to the nightlife, it's not like a club. It's not South Beach party level. It's nicer than City Walk.
Yes.
But basically it's very obvious that Disney is trying to compete with City Walk.
Yes.
So if the City Walk Universal vibe is something that you don't go for, just keep that in mind, and maybe that area of Disney Springs is not something you would frequent.
Well, and that's another reason why I haven't gone to Trader Sam's yet. We have not had the ability to give somebody our kids for that time so we can go. You were able, Jenny was asleep, so you were able to go.
Yeah. And the boathouse was very family friendly. It did have 2 bars, which was not a problem. I think, my husband and I were talking about there are so many differences between Disney and Universal, and we've got to do a whole episode on that. But whatever the relationship between Disney and Universal is, you can kind of equate that in City Walk and Disney Springs.
Okay.
Disney Springs just has a little bit more of the Disney service, and Disney, I feel, expects you to bring your children, whereas Universal, if you bring your children, they will accommodate them. But there's a little edge there that Disney will have, and Disney Springs does have that feel. So don't feel like you can't bring your kids.
Right.
But just keep in mind it's a little more hipster clubby than it used to be.
Okay, cool. And just to also go on the hipster thing, Dapper Day is going to be coming up. I don't know if you've ever heard of these.
I have been there on Dapper Day.
Oh, you have?
It was the hottest day of the year. So these hipsters, God bless them, were head to toe in their like Music Man attire, dripping with sweat.
And I give props to the girls
They're
that
in
walk
their
around
heels.
heels.
Oh.
I'm like, no, I got to do flats. But it will be April 15th and 16th. So definitely check them out. I actually thought it was a Disney.
It was a Disneyland thing for the longest time.
But I thought it was actually sponsored by Disney, and it's not. It's actually a different group.
It's just like a social media.
Day. Yeah. So definitely check. Do a search for that.
It was last year. We were there on Dapper Day. It was not only the hottest day of the year, but it also rained. Oh. And I have to say, when I do dress for comfort. I'm usually in jeans and tennis shoes and some kind of ridiculous t-shirt. My latest purchase, because I'm a huge Tom Hiddleston fan, is it says it's got Loki, except he's being like smushed by a dolphin, and it says burdened with glorious porpoise. Which I think is friggin' hilarious. But unfortunately...
That is funny. I like it.
Thank you. My husband like rolled his eyes.
What? No, are you serious? Mr. I got my...
Yeah, so my husband's shirt yesterday is, I never received my letter to Hogwarts, so I'm leaving the Shire and joining the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right, which I got him as a Christmas present.
I love it.
So every time he gives me the glorious porpoise hard time, I'm like, okay, easy there, Harry Potter, right? So we both went to University of Miami, so when we go to Harry Potter, to Universal, we have shirts that say, my Patronus is a hurricane. Anyway, so huge nerds that we are, we always feel kind of weird when you walk into, it's rare that we do a really fancy dinner, but we do have a couple of family friends that we travel with, and they love to have one night where they just eat out, and it's usually at France. But Monsieur Paul, the upstairs, really upscale. Now, if Mrs. invites us and is paying, then we're of course glad to accept, but we do it at the end of a Disney day. So I'm in my LL Bean sort of like rucksack, jeans, my, Eat, Sleep, Disney t-shirt. Yeah. Nate's dressed in his, suddenly Donald realizes he never wears pants t-shirt.
Which, by the way, when he gets out of the shower, he's wearing a towel.
He is. What's up with that?
I was watching Friends the other day, and that was this Chandler came out. It was one of the best episodes too. It's the episode where no one's ready. He comes out and says that, and I was like, yes, right.
So we're there in our Disney ridiculous T-shirts, and they go back to the hotel and dress for dinner because they usually stay at the yacht or the beach club, and so they just walk over, and they're all in like nice attire, and we are with the Disney stench. Like coming in with our...
I will say France is probably one of the only places that we only ate once at as growing up because I felt like, I myself felt like I just did not fit in.
It's an amazing meal. It's kind of like wonderful. Victoria and Albert's. I've never done it, but it's an experience. But again, Disney takes all type, very eclectic, and they are expecting that you've come with your kids, so you're trying to like park the stroller... The baby's crying. You've got your, LL Bean and your coolie bag and your souvenirs of the day. So you come in like schlepping all this stuff, and you're like, bonsoir, be our guest, be our guest. So again, it's always, I feel like Dapper Day is maybe the universe's way of redressing my casualness, because then you're walking around Tomorrowland and you're getting on the People Mover, and basically Bert and Mary Poppins are standing in front of you in the chalk painting.
I think it's awesome.
With parasols.
I was actually thinking we're going to be there for Star Wars weekend because it's during Star Wars weekend. I'm like, how can I get like some?
And they Disney bound Dapper Day. So we had a whole, and we saw them live. You guys are my favorites because you were social media. If you're listening, they did the Avengers. They Disney bounded the Avengers.
In Dapper Day.
So the one is in, and of course I find Loki right away because again, Tom Hiddleston. Yeah. So she's got like a green dress with a gold belt and sort of a gold vest kind of thing.
Nice.
And and they made like she had Captain America earrings. You got to find them on social media. So they Disney bounded Dapper Day as the Avengers, and they got their pictures taken everywhere.
Awesome.
And so my hats off. They were like on it.
I would like
but that took dedication.
Yeah.
And they had to have been melting.
Yeah, but and you can't be carrying around a kid either, I don't think. I mean,
that's for that's pre-parenting. We missed that boat.
Yeah.
Or, you can leave your kids at home, which it's kind of hard to do when you can't tell them you're going to Disney World and say, but you're staying with grandma. Good luck.
Oh, man, when we had to go for my husband's conference a few years ago, it was at the Dolphin and the Swan, and Ainsley was like, where are you guys going? I'm like,
work?
Yep. Couldn't tell her. Everywhere else, we told her exactly where. We couldn't tell her where we were going. Not that we went into the parks because we were, of course, in blackout during that time, but still, it's hard to say, Mommy and Daddy were at Disney.
Yeah, my in-laws went to Disney last month. They had extra DVC points to burn, I think, that weren't going to roll over, so they just went for the weekend. And my mother-in-law walks in, and she gave us a hug, and she's like, all right, we'll see you. We're going to Disney. My daughter looked up and goes, Alma goes to Disney? I go, no, she meant Fizzy. Curses. So now you got to bring her back something. Yeah. So, what she did wasn't a problem.
It's really
hard. And also new things. If you're like me, I know Ariane does Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. But my daughter, and I almost Instagrammed a picture of a kid doing sorcerers, but I thought, is it wrong for me to Instagram a picture of someone else's child? Anyway, they have these flip dolls now that are getting really popular, so... I wish I had a picture of Ariane's face right now. So
I think I know what she's talking about, and to me, it's the most disturbing thing that they've put out on the market.
They're a little scary looking.
First saw them in California at Disneyland in 2014.
Yeah,
I was disturbed.
So one side is Elsa.
Yes.
You flip the doll over, you pull the skirt down, and it's Anna.
Except it's not really designed well, so. Anna's hands are sticking up, Elsa's hands are sticking up. So when Anna's there, she looks like she's got two lumps coming out. It's
and when you hold her up, the skirt comes down, and the bottom, whatever doll's on the bottom, like her head sticks out underneath the skirt. So the doll has no feet. It's just two heads.
It's the worst. I think it's weird.
Well, I own all of them.
It's weird. You have one?
I have all of them. Well, Ginny's obsessed. So I have Anna, Elsa. Then the second one they came out with was, which my father-in-law found Anna and Elsa and used it in a sermon. Something about how, you're either Anna or Elsa. You're either the helper or the one who's looking for freedom. I don't know. He equated it back to Jesus. It was, I'm sure, beautiful. I wasn't there at the time, but he asked me, he said, I'll buy it for Ginny if I can use it as a sermon prop, and then she can have it. No problem. Then the next one they came out with was Cinderella and Belle. But the problem is Cinderella looks very much like Elsa. The blue dress is it. But Belle is pretty. Then they came out with my favorite one, which is Aurora and Ariel. And now the newest one that just came out, hot off the presses, and it's in my daughter's bedroom, is Sophia from Sophia the First and Amber. So my daughter is thrilled because your daughter, I don't know if she picked it out or you picked it out, got a Sophia and Amber t-shirt for Ginny.
Ainsley picked that out.
Yes, so now Ainsley, who my daughter calls Lizzie, I don't know why. But
it's a hard name.
It's a hard name. So she's Lizzie for now. But she said, Lizzie gave me this, and then when she saw the doll, she had to have Sophia and Amber.
I'm sorry.
But no, I like
dolls. They're disturbing to me. It's disturbing.
It's just because the doll has no feet.
It's the head underneath the dress.
The head's under the dress, so
that's what bothers me.
But anyway, so the newest flip doll is the Sophia and Amber flip doll. If you're a Sophia the First fan, you can.
Or if you're a flip doll.
Say that 3 times.
Doll fan.
See who needs vocal coaching now. What else is new?
After my performance this morning, I need more help than vocal coach.
It's Jungle Book right now. Is that your?
Yeah.
Ariane is in the Jungle Book at Actors Playhouse.
Aquila, the wolf, the mad cub's mommy.
Yes.
Disney implemented new ticket prices.
Over
the weekend. A lot of people are really upset about this. Honestly, though, it's based off of the time of the year that you visit. So your peak times, which I think are only Christmas and Easter.
Really, yeah.
When I looked at the tickets, and then there's so that's peak, and then there's
sometimes July 4th,
moderate,
but
and then there's value. And it's $17 difference. I understand why some people are really upset. The little investigating that I was able to do, though, it really only looks like it's affecting the one-day passes, because the multi-day passes are $100. They pretty much, Magic Kingdom was $105, and then everything else was like $97. They kind of made everything even now, so it's just a one-day pass at this rate. And then as you get your multi-day passes, then it kind of spans out and it gets cheaper as you go through the time. And of course, the restrictions are the same. You have to use it within 14 days. The Florida resident tickets look like they're the only ones with restrictions as far as dates, though, when you get them.
And it's funny that they're moving back to that, because when we were kids, they did seasonal passes and stuff like that, and then they got away from that one ticket, one park thing, you know, and they had an even price, and now they're back to this. Pretty soon we'll have e-ticket rides again.
50 cents to ride the ride. No, I'm good. It really does look like it's like more affecting the one-day visitors.
Yeah.
So the tour groups, I think those are the people that it's not going to be the people that are there vacationing over long periods of time. And of course, annual pass holders, we got the big hit. With annual passes being hit up in October and
blackout dates as well.
Dates.
For different grades of annual passes have different blackout dates.
Yeah.
And I think is it Platinum is the one that's everything
everything.
You basically own Disney.
Yeah. Which is honestly, we almost got suckered in. I almost bought into it because it's like $7 more a month, and I'm like,
we might have to because we go for New Year's.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a blackout date. I haven't really checked the calendar yet.
Purple magic bands are now available.
Thank sweet baby Jesus. He's back. It's not even Easter. He's already back. Yeah. Let me tell you, my daughter is obsessed with the color purple. I am so excited.
So is mine.
Yes.
And and we were gonna buy it for her on.
She's gonna lose her marbles.
$12.95 to pay for that purple magic band, and I'm so glad that we don't have to do it.
Thank you, Disney, for listening to your people.
Because we're not all pink fans.
No,
I like purple.
And I do. I mean, mine are usually blue. I've tried to get different ones now because my sister-in-law's taken to decorating them.
We have a rainbow. Oh, we decorate too.
Yes.
I actually did mine as like a Mickey bar.
Oh, that's cute.
We'll do a magic band episode.
Well, we have a yellow one that she's done Steelers colors because my husband's from Pittsburgh. So if the whatever team is playing, we do them for that. But I'm so thank you, Disney, for purple. Thank you. So
our annual passes we just bought them, so I saw that yesterday.
Oh, did you get purple?
And I just ordered them yesterday. They're purple.
Awesome. Oh, for annual pass holders, just a little note. When your annual passes come, your magic bands come, sometimes they put the little fobby thing that you slide on.
Yeah, the little slider.
Slider, thank you. Technical term. They don't have the dates anymore, which is kind of nice because then
it just says pass holder.
But that does not get you your discount.
No.
You must have the actual card. And I've been told, although this has not happened to me yet, I've been told that underneath your magic bands is where they put the card. Usually I am so excited, I take the magic band out of the box and I throw the box away.
Right.
Then you have to go to guest services and get the pass, which is kind of a pain in the behind if it's a really long line. But just keep in mind that you must have your actual pass with your ID. They are checking those.
And some of them actually are scanning. There's a little cute thing on the back, and they'll actually scan that to get into parking. And just to piggyback, the new box that they're putting the pass holders in, it's not the regular magic band
blue,
box.
Right?
No, it's like an orange box, but it slides out. And if you take the insert out, it's actually but what I'm saying is, if you have a collection of magic bands, it's actually, you can put like 14 magic bands and line them up.
Cool.
We started doing that with Ainsley's. We have like them kind of
Sorry, that's Mickey calling, telling us you're welcome for the purple magic bands. Just keep in mind with your annual passes, you do get 10% discount at a lot of stores and restaurants. So always be sure to mention that you're an annual pass holder or a DVC member if you are, and you have to have your DVC card with you.
It's funny though, because every time I ask for it, I can't use it, and when I forget.
You look back and like, how was a restaurant I could have used it at?
Well, and I'm kind of upset because I have the lovely new Alex and Annie Star Wars bracelet that I got for myself, and it's my Valentine's Day gift from my husband. And I got this lovely Alex and Annie bracelet.
Aren't we easy to shop for? Because we just tell them what Disney.
Exactly. I was like, I had 3 that I was like, you can pick one of the 3. But I told the guy, and the guy was so excited to tell me about the My Disney Experience app and also the new Disney Parks Shop app, that he did not apply my 10% to this purchase. And I was like, I got home and I was like, that was a little bit more than it should have been. So I was kind of a little frustrated, and I, went through the whole thing of, I know I said it to him because I had to pull out the card. I pulled out my driver's license. I pulled out, my Visa. So I was kind of a little, so make sure before you purchase, even though you're telling them, make sure that you're kind of checking in on that.
As convenient as the magic bands are, do make sure to take your driver's license and either your annual pass or your DVC membership card. The discounts are the same, 10% for either. It's not 20% compounded, unfortunately.
No.
But do make sure you keep that in a little billfold or something, because that 10% is
it adds up.
Well, I just bought the Dooney and Burke purse, and it's like $20. So
yeah, it definitely adds up. So it's Star Wars launching bay is officially
launched,
taking over.
It has awakened.
So with new character meet and greets, which including Chewbacca and Kylo Ren, which I am not a fan of Kylo Ren.
He's whiny. He's a bit whiny.
I'm sorry. No, not spoiling anything, just in case somebody has been out there that has not seen
It's okay.
it
People were walking around Disney World talking about the major thing that happens in Force Awakens, which I will also not spoil, even though the movie, I think everyone on the planet's probably seen the movie at this point. So
actually, my friend Summer has not. I found that yesterday, but I could not talk about it. I personally could not talk about what happened.
She's having like a physical reaction.
I'm like that upset because I am a fan.
A fan of that character.
It was like my top 5, like my number 5, like celebrity number 5 list.
Oh, like in your freebie 5?
Yes.
Oh.
Not anymore, because he's like...
Mine's just Tom Hiddleston 5 times. No, sorry.
Is yours laminated?
No, it is not.
Sorry, another Friends reference.
Mine is, it's usually British actors that change from day to day. Right now it's Tom. It was Benedict, but then he got married. Anyway, since we were talking about things like Star Wars DVC... It's the 25th anniversary, so they are having some special exclusive 25th anniversrsary DVC parties and magic bands and things like that. We need to go with you. You do. Well, I'm not going to said parties because they're already sold out. Well, they only had them I think 2 or 3 nights. One was like February 25th and March 10th or something like that. Don't quote me on those dates. But they only did it a few times.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
You would think for the whole year they would do stuff like they would...
Yeah, put it out. But something else, not to go back to the boathouse. You mentioned the amphibious car. There is a boat that is, I don't even know what it costs, but one of the vintage Chris Craft, like 60s boats, you can take out for fireworks viewing.
Oh.
And like champagne toasting and stuff like
That's
that. So
nice.
if you're doing something really extra special,
Hint, if you're going to propose to anybody.
if you were going to propose, my brother-in-law proposed to his wife at the Wishing Well at Cinderella's castle. Very sweet.
That's
and
cute. My friend Pam, her son just got engaged this weekend at Disney, so I'm excited to hear about that story.
But definitely, they do have a lot of specials like that. The Boathouse is just an example, but there are launches from both the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian where you can charter boats that go out into Seven Seas Lagoon and watch the fireworks. And they have romantic cruises, or they have more of the pontoon party boat atmosphere.
And the Yacht and the Beach and the Boardwalk have a...
like dessert parties.
They go through and they do illuminations.
Yes. So also something nice. Yeah. And just if you have done that kind of stuff before, we had a dessert party for my bachelorette party. It was, they have a special section, and forgive me, I'll put it in the show notes for those kind of special Disney events. The dessert party actually wasn't that expensive, so if you're looking for something special, you can add the Boathouse to your list of things that offer that. Yeah.
And we want to thank all of our great suggestions that we've given from our listeners about some topics that they want to hear us talking about. So please keep them coming.
Yeah.
We've got some of that talked about Hidden Mickey's best eats and worst eats.
I got some of those.
Favorite restaurants, that's a big one. I think like a majority of the people that have given us comments, every single one has asked about restaurants. Things to do at the resorts offered as a vacation without having to enter the parks, which I thought was a very interesting topic, so we're going to definitely
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
Especially at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, that's funny that you say that because that's where we had our honeymoon. And we ended up having to go out on Wednesday to find a Walmart because we were so bored off of our bums watching Lifetime made for movies. It was a hunger point I will never forget. And we ended up going to Walmart and buying board games.
Really?
We were so bored. I looked at him and I was like, this is
board games for the board.
On our honeymoon.
Oh, well,
which was bad. But
we'll have another podcast on how to entertain oneself on one's honeymoon, Ariane.
At Disney.
But at Animal Kingdom, though, just as I mentioned, and just because I just stayed there, so it's fresh in my mind. If you ever do stay at Kidani Village, which is the DVC only resort for Animal Kingdom, just keep in mind that the only eatery there is the DVC store, which has convenience kind of stuff that you can take back to your room. There is no quick service. There's Sauna, which is the restaurant.
Back over.
Yeah, Sauna is the restaurant, which requires reservations, but there's no counter service like the Mara, which is the counter service over at Jambo House. Jambo House is the original Animal Kingdom resort, expanded to include some DVC suites, but it's a bit of a walk. It's a long walk. It's really more of a drive. So if you are staying at Kidani Village, just again, picture yourself going to actual Africa in the savannah and pack accordingly. If you are like us, we ordered room service because we got back
and you were hungry
on Saturday at like 7 o'clock because Ginny had conked out on us, and we was like, wait a minute, we didn't bring any food, and I'm not going to go run to Kissimmee and buy stuff to cook because I'm in a kitchenette. So yeah, we ended up ordering room service, which was lovely.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very nice, and we had a savannah view, so we watched the giraffes.
So...
Yeah, it was sweet. But you've got to remind room service is probably twice as much as you'd rather pay for just regular meals. Right. So just keep that in mind if you stay at Kidani Village. Anyway.
We've got some upcoming episodes. We're going to talk about the Flower and Garden Festival.
Yeah.
DVC, we're going to do that DVC episode.
DVC, yep.
And then we're going to do a technical smartphone, My Disney Experience, Magic Band, and the Shop Disney Parks app episode.
Yes.
So that's some stuff that we have coming up. And before I forget, I want to go back because as I was editing and I was going through and doing all the show notes, I've learned things since our last talk that we talked. We finally did the rope drop at the Magic Kingdom. I finally opened the park.
You opened the park.
Century. So it was really cute. I ended up taping the whole show. It was really cute.
It's cute. They come in the train and all that.
But most importantly, I found out that the Haunted Mansion popcorn is available year-round. Because when we first recorded, we were talking about it. I didn't know. It is available year-round at Memento Mori, which is the Haunted Mansion gift shop, or
Where
because
else?
of your trip this weekend and you hashtagging Goofy's candy shop. I looked on there, and sure enough, I looked at the Instagram and I saw people had posted pictures of the popcorn.
I'm such a bad friend. I should have brought you some.
I have, we stocked up in February when we went, and I have bags in my fridge, so I'm good. Until our next trip. So, but yes, that was definitely, so I wanted to let people know that are fans of the popcorn. That is.
Well, I got my Rice Krispie treat Phil. My personal trainer, hopefully, is not a listener. Sorry, Doug. But yeah, I had a BB-8, and that's what we couldn't decide between the Shamrock and the Flower, which was the sort of Easter one. So we went with BB-8 because that is the correct choice.
That's cool. Yes. So
anyway,
so yeah, that's it. That's our what's new and review.
Yes, we're back. We're back on schedule, so we will be recording these regularly, and we'll keep them topical with the calendar, March 2016.
But it's kind of fun to celebrate Christmas in March, and only 290 something days to go.
And it's funny to hear that we're still Disney nuts after the last one. Well, and I did go for New Year's. And
we should talk about that.
It was lovely. Yeah, it was actually lovely. We were there for one of the final nights of Osborne's Spectacle of Lights, which was really sweet. And they actually did. You can catch this on YouTube. Someone posted the actual final showing.
That's sad.
It brings a tear to your eye because they do the Mickey Mouse Club. Now it's time to say goodbye, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
And then slowly all the lights just start dimming, and it was just like, that's it. Yeah. And then people just started clapping, and I'm getting goosebumps. Because I did watch that on YouTube, and it was like an end of an era.
We were driving up. I have a Disney mix on my iPod of like every Disney song in the world, and What's This from Nightmare Before Christmas came on, and that's one of the songs that they used quite frequently in the rotation for Osborne's Spectacle of Lights. So we were driving up, and it came on. I was like, oh, a little moment for Osborne. Spectacle of Lights. So I think our next episode is probably Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden, so be sure to check in for that.
And thanks so much for joining us. This has been Marianne.
And Ariane.
We're the Disney Twins. Yay!
Bye!
Bye. You've been listening to the Disney Twins podcast.
All show notes and information are available at our blog, thedisneytwins.wordpress.com.
Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for our next episode. I'm Marianne.
And I'm Ariane.
And we're the Disney Twins.